welcome to Coding with Corgi. Today we'll be talking about Unit 2.3, which is for loops. So maybe you've heard of for loops, maybe you haven't, but basically they are a structure that allows you to run code over and over again, hence the name loop. So it's a structure that allows code to be repeated a certain number of times. Until the test case is false. Okay, what does that mean? Well, first we're definitely going to have to look at 4 different parts of the for loop. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the order that for loops run in, so please note that this is not just a linear process. For loops run in a very specific way. First, you initialize the variable. Then, you check the test case. And this is the tricky part. Before we update the variable, we actually go to the body. So the body is the next thing that runs. So whatever is in these curly brackets is considered the body. And then last but not least, we update the variable. Okay. So what does that mean? I'll walk you through this exact example real quick to help you visualize what it looks like, and then we'll look at a little more difficult examples. Okay, so here we initialize the variable. The variable is called I. So we put the name of our variable here, and we know that the variable starts at 0. Here we put the test case, just so we don't forget, and then anything that is the body gets put out here. So it goes 1, 2, 3. If you want, you can write out what the body is, but it does not matter as long as you just keep referring to the body. So if I is 0, I is less than 5. So in the body, we system.outprint I, and I is 0. So the body is 0. And then we update the variable. When we update the variable, we see here I is now 1 because if we look here, I equals I plus 1. The new I equals the old I plus 1. We know that is less than 5, so the body, it prints out I, and I is currently 1. And then we update the variable again. I is now 2. 2 is still less than 5. The body prints out 2. Then the variable is updated to 3. I 3, and 3 is less than 5. The body that prints out it's 3. This keeps going all until we reach the number 5. Now 5 is not, again, 5 is not less than 5, which means the body doesn't print out anything. It only exits. So the only thing that prints out is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, Jojo, go stay over there. So we're going to go ahead and print out this for loop on REPL. And if we print out for loop, call this for loop 1, which is the same thing, except I've added the string this number is, you'll notice that what gets printed out is this number is 0, this number is 1, this number is 2, all the way till 4. See? And the reason I can add words in here is because I've concatenated the string to the variable. You'll notice that the only thing that changes is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is why my I starts at 0 and ends at 5, or ends at 4, excuse me. The variable starts at 0 and is the only thing changing. It ends at 4. This number is that string. This number is doesn't change, which is why I made it a string that gets printed out every time. Now, you can do a few things to each for loop. If you wanted to, you can change where it starts and stops. For example, in here I have my j equal to 0 and j less than or equal to 4. Well, if I wanted to start at 1, I could do that. And you'll notice how I'm actually manipulating the body. I know that it's going to start at 1 and it's going to end at 4 because j less than or equal to 4, the only j that is less than or equal, the biggest j that can still make this statement true is when j equals 4. Which means if we run through this for loop with this handy dandy chart, we'll call this for loop number 2, loop 2. We have j less than or equal to 4, and then the body. So if we run through this, j starts at 1, j is less than or equal to 4. The body is j divided by 2.0, which gives you 0.5. Then j plus plus means j goes up by 1. Not 0.5. 0.5 does not go up by 1. The j variable does. j2 is less than or equal to 4. So j divided by 2.0 equals 2 divided by 2.0 equals 1.0. Excuse me, because it is a double. J gets updated to 3. 3 is still less than or equal to 4. J divided by 2.0 is 1.5. 4 is less than or equal to 4. J divided by 2.0, because again, that's what the body of this for loop looks like. J divided by 2.0. Well, we know 4 divided by 2.0 is simply 2.0. So, if we run this for loop, you'll notice that it'll print out what we said on our chart. So this chart is super, super useful, especially if you get confused and you don't know what's j, what's the body, what's going to print down, what's going to be updated. So I highly recommend that you do this chart every time. Now the difference between this for loop number 2 and this for loop number 3, I'm actually going to show you. Both of them print out the same thing. 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2.0. And the reason it does that is, well, you'll notice that these two aren't the same. These for loops aren't the same. But you'll notice that, and they don't even start and stop at the same place. This one starts at 0. For loop 3 starts at 0 and ends at 2.0. And you'll notice the update variable isn't the same either. In loop 3, k actually gets updated by 0.5. But they print out the same thing. This goes to show that even if you're printing out the same thing, the for loops don't have to be the same. For loops, you can manipulate when it starts and stops. You can manipulate how much the variable increments by, or decrements if you want to go down backwards. And you can tell the body what is printed out. Even though, again, to reiterate, even though these two for loops are different, they print out the same thing. So I highly recommend you take a look at this, even make a for loop chart to figure out why it does this. And I'll see you next time. Bye!